As a parent, you're doing everything you can to help boost your child's language skills so that they start speaking and say more words. You're reading books, you're buying toys, you're trying to work out where your child should be in terms of their speech and language skills, which we refer to as milestones. But there's one little habit that you might be doing as a parent that is holding your child back when you're trying to introduce new words and you don't even realize you're doing it. So let's talk about what it is and how to fix it. If you're new to this channel, welcome. My name is Damien. I'm a speech and language therapist with over 10 years experience working with children with speech and language difficulties. My goal is to give you, the parent, tips and tricks to kind of implement these into your child's daily activities so that you can help boost their communication skills. I'm talking bath time, bedtime, even something as simple as playing with blocks. No expensive toys, no hard to follow jargon, no really complex instructions where you're like, whoa, what's he talking about? Just real strategies that are going to work in real homes. Hit subscribe if that sounds like your kind of thing. So let me give you an example of this habit and you can work out what you think's going on here. I had a patient bring her child to the clinic who was having issues with his language. He wasn't using any words and she'd been told to use language modeling strategies to help him talk. Now we were doing an activity where we were trying to look at how he models the word dog. I'm just using that as an example, I don't know what it was. And as this mother was interacting with the child, she would say things like, say dog, yep, say dog. Look at the, yep, point to the dog, say dog, say dog. Look, don't walk away, come back. Don't walk away, please, just say dog, look at me, say dog. And it kind of went on from there. And you could see that she was getting really frustrated. So the habit in question, have you worked it out yet? The habit is we make the mistake of trying to fill in the silence constantly. Now, before we go on, let me say what this parent was doing was awesome, okay? She was doing everything that a quick Google search will tell you to do, and that is to introduce language modeling to your child. It's just that when you look at online, it doesn't really tell you specifically how to do language modeling. You can find websites that say, just repeat the word to your child, get them to say the word back to you. But what do we do when they can't do that? This parent was thinking that they were doing the right thing, just bombarding their child with language, trying to use different words, talking over them. And as a result of her constantly trying to model to her child and the child not responding, she became quite anxious, which is completely understandable. And I get it, silence is awkward.
Well, this is awkward.
You model a word, your child doesn't answer, and what's your instinct? Of course, you're going to jump in to try and help them. But what if I told you there are a few tweaks you can make to make language modeling a lot more effective and also increase your child's communication skills? Sounds pretty good, right? So here's 3 tips to help boost your child's expressive vocabulary. Expressive vocabulary is just a nerdy way of saying the words that your child is currently using.
My fellow nerds and I will retire to the nerdery with our calculators.
Tip 1, model once and then wait 5 seconds. So let's use an example. Say you're playing with the ball with your child. You're out the back, you're passing the ball, you're using the modeling, talking about the ball. He comes up to your face, and what do they all do? Yeah, they Tom Brady it straight into your face, don't they?
Yes, in the face!
Now, during this activity, what you can do is you can model the word ball, and then what I want you to do is I want you to wait. I want you to wait 5 seconds. 5 seconds. And I want you to see what happens. I want you to observe what your child is doing. It's weird, I know, it's gonna feel odd, it's gonna be awkward, you're gonna be like, oh, what are we doing? Now, as you're playing with this ball, what I want you to do is I want you to model the word ball. I don't want the expectation to be for your child is to repeat the word ball to you. But when you're modeling this word and your child's not responding, count to 5 in your head. Your child may need this pause to allow for better processing speed for their brain. Research tells us that some children with language difficulties also have difficulties with their processing speed of their brain. And as a result of this, there's fewer opportunities for this back and forth interaction with yourself. It's not because they lack intent, it's because as adults, we tend to move on quickly. Another piece of research tells us that one of the strongest predictors of language growth in children who are a little bit behind with their language skills is parents who wait and allow the child to initiate and respond. By pausing and giving them space, you're allowing their brain to play catch up. So just to be clear, this isn't about hearing loss. It's about the cognitive time it takes your child's brain to kind of process that information. If we don't allow for this 5-second break, your child is still trying to process this information, and by the time they're ready to respond, you've already moved on. So instead of a rapid fire talking, give a 5-second pause after you've modeled something and see what happens. Tip 2, follow your child's lead. So let me tell you a story. At Christmas time, we usually go to my sister's place for breakfast. And usually during this breakfast time, it's usually a time for the kids to open their presents and see all the wonderful things that they got. So on this particular day, my brother-in-law was really excited because he got his son, my nephew, this really extravagant present that he was going on and on and on about. My nephew was really into Star Wars at the time, so he was really going on about this really cool, I think it might have been a Lego, something Lego, but it was really, really expensive. It might have been the Millennium Falcon Lego. Not too sure, because that thing's definitely cheap.
How much was it? $3 million?
Anyway, so it comes time to open these presents, and my brother-in-law brings in this massive box, and my nephew's just like,
Oh my God!
he's losing his mind. So we open the box up, and he sees the present, and he's all excited. He's like, yeah. What do you think happened about 25 minutes later? That's right, he was more in love with the box than he was in with the present. So it went from loving Star Wars all the way to, look at this box, it's so big, it's Bluey's house. So somehow we've gone from Star Wars to Bluey. And if you could see the look on my brother-in-law's face, I think you can exactly guess what that look was.
Who can say where the road goes?
So what's the point of that story? Well, it's basically saying you could have the best gadgets, the best toys. You could think it's going to enhance your child's communication to the max. But at the end of the day, if your child's not interested in it at that point, then it's best to follow their lead and go to what they're interested in. Because if you focus on what they're interested in that point in time, you're most likely going to have success with more language modeling and implementing better language strategies. But if it's just a box by itself, you've got to be super creative, right? And if you're not super creative, don't stress. I got something at the end of the video that you might like. Number 3, focus on communication, not just words. We don't just want our child to produce words, we also want them to have really strong overall communication skills. That means things like gestures, eye contact, turn taking, joint attention, all that stuff that comes before and alongside developing their spoken word. Here's a little bit of research for you in regards to joint attention. So joint attention is basically when you and your child are focused on the one activity or object. Research shows that joint attention with your child, so yourself and your child having a shared focus on an object or an activity, is a stronger predictor of their overall language growth than just by the language that they actually hear. So if the child loves the box more than the toy, don't stress. I think a lot of parents freak out because they've got this great toy and they thought they could use all this language modeling, they thought it was going to be a great activity. But at the end of the day, if your child's interested in something else at that moment, just go and hang out with that and do some language modeling in that area. So I hope you found this video useful. Let's just recap some of the things we talked about. Number 1, pause more. If your child isn't talking yet, don't just bombard them with lots of language and lots of modeling. Give 5 seconds after you've modeled something, wait those 5 seconds and see how your child responds and then take it from there. Number 2, follow your child's lead. Don't force them to model words or actions they're not interested in. If they're going to go play with the box, go play with the box. Follow them around, imitate them, do gestures, see what kind of communication response you get from your child in that situation. And number 3, focus on communication, not just words. So with those strategies in mind, it can sometimes be difficult to think of words to model for your child. I mean, think of all the different activities you got. You got bath time, you got bedtime, you got play, you got playing in the backyard. And sometimes it's hard to think of words to model for your child. So if that sounds like you, I've got a cheat sheet below that's got all these different words ranging from age 12 all the way up to about 3 to 4 years old. It focuses on words that you can use to model with your child in everyday routines. Like I said, bath time, bedtime, playground, going to the park, going for a walk, things like that. It's completely free and you can find it in the link down below in the description. Just plug in your email and they might send you an email every now and then with tips and strategies you can use with your child to continue to boost up their communication skills. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you're interested in enhancing your child's communication skills, don't forget to check out all my other videos on this channel. Until next time, keep talking.